Hello everyone, and welcome to Dutch Greybeard. My name is Ed. In my previous bookshelf tour, I showed you all of my literature. Now I'm ready to glance through my TBR bookcases. There's a Dutch saying, your eyes are bigger than your stomach, which means you take more food than you can possibly eat. Well, that's about the same with me and books. I buy way too many books than I can possibly read, which is fine, I think, because I regularly stand in front of my TBR shelves and take books out of it, which I then leaf through. That gives me a feeling of enormous wealth and makes me happy at the thought that I will soon actually read this or that book. I've no specific reading order, apart from my journey into the Wheel of Time. I just started reading A Crown of Swords, number 7 in the series. In between, I read some of the shorter series, like I've read the Rayera Revelations by Michael J. Sullivan. Not really a short series, they're pretty chunky books, which I loved very much. And now I'm almost done with the children's series, The Chronicles of Prydain by Lloyd Alexander, which are very delightful. Perhaps next up, I'll take the Belgariad series by David Eddings, but it could just as well be the first trilogy in Robin Hobb's Realm of the Ouderlings, the Farseer trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I'll just pick up a standalone, for instance, The Dreaming Tree by Mrs. Cherry, which very much intrigues me. Anything's possible, perhaps Drizzt, who knows? Anyway, that's part of the feeling of wealth. There's so much to explore and enjoy, and it's all there, just waiting for me. This bookshelf tour will start off with my thrillers, moving on to my literature section, and I will finish with my fantasy TBR. Have a lot of fun. I'm sitting. I'm a huge fan of Steve Barry and James Rollins, but Steve Barry is, well, as you can see, there's a lot of him I still need to read. Oh well. And there's 3 James Rollinses. I think there's a 4th on the way, but I'll buy it. Of course I'll buy it. I'll buy everything I want to read. David Gibbons, one of my favorite thriller writers. Paul Sussman, who passed away untimely, unfortunately. Still got 2 books left of him. Here's a little bit of science fiction. I've got to continue with the Odyssey of Arthur C. Clarke. Of course, I've read Odyssey 2001, but there are 3 more of these. And then a few left of Isaac Asimov, not much. And, well, this is what I am currently reading. I always read about 5-6 books at the same time. That's Thoreau's Walden. Then there's a Dutch book by a Dutch lady who didn't make it through the Second World War, a Jewish lady. And there's another book, a book by Alistair McIntosh. And I wanted to start reading Ernest Hemingway. So I started with A Farewell to Arms. I'm not even halfway. And I think I started this about 4 months ago, so that should say something about how much I enjoy it. Not very much. Thank you. And these are the other thrillers and some remnant of Heinlein, Robert Heinlein, which I still want to read. The other ones. Here's my Hemingway, 2 more Hemingways. This is the Murakami I still want to read. Ian McEwan. This is a biography about Isaac Newton, a very interesting figure. This is my Tao book collection. It's the Ursula Le Guin Tao, Tao Te Ching. This is the more or less official translation. Then what we got? John Fowles. These are books from Neil Donald Walsh, which I'm desperate to start reading in. Don't know when. Luis. This is with the island stuff. This is about Blaskit, connected to Blaskit, all these books. So this is Oliver Sacks, which I still want to read sooner or later. Some books here will probably never be read, like Spinoza's Ethica. I started it about 3 or 4 times and really don't know what it's about. This is spiritual books, Krishnamurti. This is a biography of the Buddha. And this is a beautiful book. I'll just show it to you. This is about Atalanta Fugiens, Emblemata, that's how we call it. It's just beautiful. Alright, and then Friedrich Nietzsche. One of my old projects to read his entire work. One of these days. Well, let's continue in the bottom. This is my Kurt Vonnegut collection. Just read 2 of his books and really want to read the rest of it. Don't know when. These are, well, you can see. Kafka. Elaine Pagels, very interesting. This is more study. This is mainly non-fiction. This is the biography of Erasmus. Short stories, Isaac Bashevis Singer. I'm not very into short stories, but these are the Edgar Cayces I talked about in the other video. Still want to read them. Ayn Rand, one of those writers I've never read something of, but I'm so curious about. Oh, there's your Joe Abercrombie, First Law. I'm 3 books into the children's books, The Chronicles of Prydain. Lovely, lovely those. That's a book, Stephen R. Babb, that's the bass player and co-founder of the band Glasshammer. And he's actually written a fantasy novel. Curious about that. That's the Jim Butcher series, the, see, I still don't even know, the what's it called? Codex Alera. The Codex Alera. Very curious about those. The Dreaming Tree, Mrs. Sherry. This is my David Eddings. I've got 2 series of his, which I can't wait to get into. Then we've got the daunting, the Malazan Book of the Fallen. Have to start that, and well, I'm not in a hurry, let's put it that way. Then I've got Raymond E. Feist and Jenny Words, the Empire trilogy. This is Raymond E. Feist. What's it called? The Rift War? Yeah, Rift War Saga. I still have to get used to all those titles. This is Ursula Le Guin. She's one of my old, well, loves, if you could call it that. I decided to buy this wonderful, beautifully book. This is The Faithful and the Fallen, John Gwynne, of which I've heard many good things about. This is the Robin Hobb. I've just bought the entire realm of the Elderlings, as you can see, and also the Shaman Crossing, Forest Mage, and the Renegade's Magic. What's this called? The Soldier's Son trilogy. There you go. And the James Islington books, N.K. Jemisin, Broken Earth, sorry. And this is what's left to be read of The Wheel of Time. So I'm practically halfway now.
Song of Ice and Fire, Terry Pratchett. I just bought 10 books to see where it leads me. I've read one, mildly enthusiastic, not very enthusiastic, but I'm going to read them all. Kingkiller Chronicles, The Legend of Drizzt, have to start that. Very curious about that. And I still have not read Brendan Sanderson, which is a shame, but I will get to it. I've bought the first era of the Mistborn and, of course, the Stormlight Archive, the first 4. Then I've got Django Wexler, missing one book, but it's on the way. And I thought I'd read the old Tad Williams, what's it called? The series? Memory, Sorrow and Thorn. I bought these second hand. And Jenny Word's saga, the 10 books of the Light and Shadow, Wars of Light and Shadow. Still one missing, but it's going to arrive one of these days.
That was my TBR. As you can see, I've still got a lot of books to read, but looking forward to every one of them. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and until we meet again at Dutch Greybeard.